watch this right now.
大家好，这里是有这个 WiFi 的，然后 WiFi 是一个Chaihuo S， 对，密码是Chaihuo的拼音227，Chaihuo拼音227。如果需要加 WiFi 的，可以
对的，或者是那个，因为他做你那边说，那我怎么啊？我坐这里，我这里吗？我这里。是往这边走一点嘛，对，往这边走一点，就是你把这你手在买吗？这样。这个。这么多人啊，没有，对。你好。你们会说英文吗？我会说。So, and I will talk in English if this is okay. So these are just a bunch of pictures from, I just put together random pictures from hacker spaces and events around the world. Those were robot lobsters that sing the Hallelujah Choir from Handel as well as Michael Jackson. Here's some people in Cairo. I travel around the world visiting hacker spaces, giving talks, giving workshops, helping people form community in the form of hacker spaces, much like this one. So, is anyone here, it's your first time at a hackerspace? Yeah. Yeah? Wow, cool. Well, now that you know that this one exists, come here whenever you want. There are also other hackerspaces in Shenzhen and about 2,000 in the world. And you're welcome in all of them. I started a hackerspace in San Francisco called Noise Bridge, and yeah, they're picking out on this anyways. And Noise Bridge is one of the early hackerspaces. Hackerspaces have only been around since about 2007, not very long, but they're popping up everywhere because they're so awesome and cool, like this place is. We have a supportive community for people to explore and do what we love doing. And the thing is, at hackerspaces, people really do explore and do what they love doing, which unfortunately is very different than the rest of the world. If you walk outside, most of the people you see are not doing what they like, let alone doing what they love. And when you're surrounded by people who really love what they're doing, it's way high. So like at Noise Bridge, what's that? That's Arizona, yeah, heat sink labs. And so yeah, look, people get together and solder. That one's actually in Belgium. And wherever you are, people can come together and do cool things. And they look like this. They're engaged. People are enjoying themselves. Like here, everyone is sitting here together doing something hopefully you enjoy, listening to these rants. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Hopefully it is. But there's classes and workshops. At Noisebridge, we have classes on soldering, on how to make cool things with electronics, on how to develop film for film cameras, on cooking, on Mandarin Chinese language, on German languages. We have classes on how to put up something into space and take a picture of a planet. We have classes on how to use a machine shop. We have workshops on how to sew and make cool things, crafting, how to make sculptures. Anything that people come together and want to teach and learn. And it all happens not because people are experts, but because people do it. It's not about being good at what you do. It's about doing it just because you want to. And when you do something just because you think you want to, you get to learn a lot. If you're afraid of trying something because you might not be good at it, you'll never get good at anything. In order to get good at anything, you've got to try and fail, and try and fail, and try and fail, and try and fail, and try and fail. And eventually, you'll do it enough, and you'll get good at it. Every master was once an amateur. We're all amateurs at many things. Total amateurs. Even if we're fantastic at one thing, which we can share and teach others, we're amateurs in others. And even if we're amateurs in a bunch of things, we know things that other people don't know, which we can share and teach others. And in a community that works, this is what people do. And it's what people have done since the beginning of people on the planet. We've gotten together and supported each other so that we can survive well and live lives which are way cooler as a result of creating tools and sharing and teaching them in a community that supports each other so that we can thrive. We've sort of lost this a lot in our modern world. We don't need community merely to survive, but we still need community in order to feel great about our lives. We need other people. We need to be able to share what we know with other people. You know, we're seeing all these different hacker spaces. I teach soldering and how to make cool things with electronics, so most of the pictures I have show people soldering. But look, they're eating. Here they're making their own hackerspace. That's in Toronto, near Toronto, Canada. This is in Michigan. This is their own space where people make all sorts of things with mechanical devices. That's also in another part of Michigan, where they do mostly electronics. They're all unique though. And people are doing all sorts of things, like those things I mentioned: electronics, craft, art, machine shops, food, space exploration. Anything that people want to do when they get together. Some places have lots of rules. This place has 10, starting with rule 0. Noisebridge has only 1 rule. Anyone know what that 1 rule is? Well, there's one hackerspace that has 1 rule, and that's don't make us create another rule. But at Noisebridge, we have 1 rule, which is be excellent to each other. That's all we need to do. Other hackerspaces have lots of rules so that everyone knows what to expect, and that's okay too. As long as the space is really perfect for the people who start it and keep it going. So, yeah, focus on making or unfocused. So you can just sort of brainstorm and play. That's okay too. Learn from all these things. That was at a design fest in Tokyo. Yeah, one of the reasons that I'm here in China this year is to help create hackerspaces and universities. So I'm here, as I've been in the last few years, with a group of people where we go around China visiting hackerspaces, visiting manufacturing, so we can see how to manufacture our projects and make them into products to share with the world, and also to be shown around cool things by local geeks, people like you. And this year, as in the last couple of years, to help start hackerspaces, because education is broken. It's worse in some places than others. In the United States, my country, it's really horribly broken. It's all about standardized tests. Teachers are fired if they do anything which doesn't lead to better standardized test scores. Every study ever done in the history of studying education shows that there's no correlation whatsoever with test scores and anything else. But if people do really well on tests, it does correlate very highly with people doing really well on tests. That's it. In China, the people who do absolutely the best in test taking end up going to universities such as Chaihuo. So Chaihuo University has the best test takers on the planet. Because there's 2,000 years of people taking tests. People here are great at taking tests. That's not a good thing. That only means that people are good at learning what they want to learn to live lives they want to live. Not learning to have a lifetime of learning. Not learning to live a life that everyone feels is way worthwhile. Education doesn't have to be that way. Education actually can be about a lifetime of learning. Hackerspaces have a method of teaching and learning that works. Hands-on, project-based, play-based learning. People can play and learn a lot. And all these research studies show that this kind of learning works really well. You can go to university, as I did, going to school almost every day of my life until I was 28 years old. I learned a lot, but mostly I learned from this lab that I played in, not the classes. But I did learn in classes too. I learned a bunch of theory, and then I could apply that theory to what I was doing in the lab. But it worked much better if I was working on projects in the lab, found that I was limited in my knowledge, and then I knew what I wanted to learn. And then I could take classes on the theory that would help me do my projects. And I knew why I was learning, so I was motivated. And I learned really well that way. At Hackerspaces, we don't have to go through that bizarre, circuitous route of jumping through hoops in order to do things. The lab is there, right here. All this space. There's all these tools here. There's all these people here who are willing to share and learn with. And you can do projects. You can learn as a total beginner to do something cool. And if you do that and you want to learn more, there are more people to learn from. You can even then go online or go to a school and learn things that you're now motivated to learn because you know why you're learning it. So if a school, a university, has a hackerspace and has the hackerspace be one of the centers, the focus of curriculum for learning, then every student has an opportunity to come together with other people and play and enjoy what they learn, find out what they love learning, find out what they love doing, and then do it. Find out what they're limited in their knowledge to help, as well as seek other resources for learning, whether it's books, the internet, other people in the space. All of this can help in learning. So we're also here in Shenzhen. We're just doing a get-together, a meetup today of students interested in starting a hackerspace in Tsinghua, Shenzhen. And together with some UC Berkeley students, we were at an event last night. Universities all around the world are seeing that in order to remain relevant, they have to provide actual education for people. And hackerspaces are one way people at universities are experimenting with state government. So yeah, well, I brought a bunch of people I organized so that we come to China together. There are 9 of us. I think 8 of us are here tonight. So if people want to come and share what they do, you know, why don't you come up and say a little bit about yourself and what you do, and then you can demo your thing. A bunch of things you've been seeing here are my projects, as well as people learning to solder. That's a guy who invented the first computer in Eastern Europe. He made a computer called Galaxia. He made it at the same time that Steve Wozniak made the Apple I. World, go to hackerspaces, you meet some of the coolest people. That's in Slovakia. People are putting radio-controlled airplane together. Yeah, like I said, I'm into electronics, so most of my pictures are about electronics. But the people that are traveling with me are into a whole bunch of different things, including electronics. That's a phone booth in a hackerspace called MetaLab in Vienna. And you can make, even though it's a payphone booth, you can make free phone calls anywhere in the world. That's an emergency Guy Fawkes mask. Break the glass to have a revolution. You know where that is. Oh, this is in Pseudo Room in Oakland. That's a newish hackerspace. We had a gathering 4 weeks ago where hackerspaces all around the Bay Area got together and shared what works and doesn't work for them. Yeah, here we are, Belgium. Anyways, who wants to come up and introduce themselves? So Cedric's coming up. Cedric is part of a hackerspace in Paris, France, called the Black Group. Oops.
Yeah. I brought a project I'm working on. It's a wireless motion sensor. Motion sensor. It's very simple. This board, I can show you a little demo and slides. I don't know, should I make it smooth? Yeah. Let's make it concrete. Should I show this video?
Sure, that's kind of cool.
So I'm from Paris, in France, but I spent some time in San Francisco where I met Mitch and where I learned how to make PCB. And this project took some time. It was a side project originally, but now it works. So I'm going to show it a little bit. Maybe before that, I can show you how my hackerspace in Paris looks like. It's very small, smaller than here. But it's actually 2 hackerspaces in one. It's the so it's just a time lapse. You can see. So we have the black loop. The black loop is the name of this place, but it's the conjugation of the black box and the loop. 2 different hackerspaces with 2 different approaches. One is more about art and electronics, and the other is more about security and computer networks. So it's a good mix. This is one day in the week when we organize kind of meetup every week where people show what they do and they explain their problem, and maybe we go and talk with them. Or maybe I have this solution for you, whatever. We just exchange ideas, and we make crepes. That's the most important thing. So to go on my project quickly, I made with a few friends, I made a startup where we build multi-touch screens. We can detect objects and play music, for example, but not only. I've been involved in music for a lot of time, and that was my first passion. I wanted to make that. And we are limited to this flat surface. So we've been thinking about how to continue interaction with this flat surface, but outside of it. So this object allows to continue controlling media such as music, but plenty of other things. I've been thinking about putting it on dancers and control flames, so fire. So just an example, you can see all of these objects are recognized, and they control exactly light. So what happens if we put this object inside of the object? We should be able to control more things, such as music effect. So I'm going to try a live demo, see if it works. All right. So when I'm moving this, the orientation of this virtual object is changed. You can see the data that is received wirelessly, but the attitude, which is also called the Euler angles, and the accelerometer data. And you can see if I shake it, you can see the acceleration. You can see, for example, if I put it upside down on the side, you can detect how you are tilting off. So, show more. So one thing that can be interesting to do is, if you see the video interface, the idea is to send this data to musical instruments inside of the computers, like Ableton Live. We can send OSC or MIDI, and if any of you is interested in playing with this, all of it is open source. I can give you my email or whatever. Just come to talk to me. Thank you.
So is Rachel around? Yeah. You have the USB stick, right? So why don't you come up and
Can I bring my computer over here? Okay, do we need to do anything other than just double tap?
Yeah, you can just run it from there.
All right. Hi,
is it not working?
I'm Rachel. No, I just
Oh.
introduced myself first. I'm from a hackerspace in Oakland, California, called Ace Monster Toys, and I want to show you just a couple of things that I've made. Some at hackerspaces and some at not. A lot of hackerspaces work on electronics, and I've done a little bit of that, but I wanted to show you some of the variety of other things as well. So these are some jewelry that I made. with acrylic on a laser cutter, and then I used a heat gun to bend it around a wine bottle as a bracelet. Is there a way to go to the next picture? Yeah, okay. This is a 3D printed model of this creature, which is something drawn by a famous artist called M.C. Escher. So you may have heard of that. I drew this in a CAD program and printed out all of the pieces separately. It does curl up, but I don't have a picture of that, unfortunately. You see that the creature curls up. This is part of a project where I was making a coat with metal clasps, pewter clasps, and this is the final result. That's an entire coat, which I don't have a picture of, but I do have some. Oh wait, maybe I can't do that. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Okay. This is molten pewter that I'm pouring into a silicone mold. This was one of my practice pieces. I had to make maybe 3 or 4 molds and 3 or 4 tests of doing the casting before I figured out how to make a result that I liked. But pewter is a very low melting point metal. It's similar to solder. So a small propane torch to melt it. You can actually melt it on a kitchen stove if you want to. It's about 520 degrees Fahrenheit. This is really fun, by the way, melting pewter and making castings. About 528 degrees Fahrenheit. That particular technique has turned out not to be a great one. There's better ways to pour pewter into a casting, but that's the video I had. Anyway, interesting. So where was I? So then this is a project that combines some of the previous techniques and adds new ones. This actually does have electronics inside. It is a device that when you hold the handles, it reads your heartbeat. It detects your heartbeat through, I forget exactly how, it was an old project. And then it plays music in the beat of your heart. It is called Pulse of the City. I made this in collaboration with some people that I met at Noisebridge, and the city of Boston, Massachusetts paid us money to install 5 of them in various places. So this piece I got paid for. These handles are cast pewter, like I just showed you. This is acrylic that I formed over a mold with a heat gun. The rest of the heart-shaped housing is fiberglass, and all of the electronics are inside. And completely unrelatedly, this is an old thing that I made. I publish a lot of my projects on a website called Instructables, and this one I made, I think, 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, but it is the one that I get the most. Some people are like, I want to make this. Many people have made this and decorated with feathers or streamers or all kinds of things. Anyway, small set of projects that I've made. This is on the stick, but he's sick and doesn't want.
Okay, so Luis Felipe is not feeling well. He's here. He's from a city in southern Brazil, and he's finishing up his PhD in anthropology, but he's also very much into open source software and hardware, and he's working on a project which you wear it, it's got sensors, and you can play drums just by touching parts of your body. So who else wants to come up and talk? Jeff? So Jeff is from Hackerspace that he helped start in Urbana, Illinois, where the University of Illinois is about 250 kilometers from Chicago.
Can we have internet here?
No.
Okay, so we're on the USB stick. Okay. Oh, USB stick?
Oh, is yours in that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't do that. Then
There you go. F5.
oh, all right. So hello, I'm Jeff. This is the Makerspace. I help. I run it because nobody really runs our space. It's very collective. Whoever shows up and is excited about something, that's how decisions get made. So this is our mission statement. We want to provide backgrounds to learn, teach, tinker, collaborate, share, innovate, socialize, and create. And I think we stick to this pretty well. We do a lot of outreach with community, and we really try and drag all types of people to our space and find people who might not otherwise be encouraged to work on projects. We try and push them to do the things they really want to do. Mitch already talked about the maker movement. It's all over the world. I don't know if you saw that map yet. So this is just random pictures of events we do. This was a cool one. A group of students was coming in, and we were going to teach them to solder. And one of our members came up with the idea of let's have them make their own battery-powered soldering irons. So at the end of the workshop, you would actually go home with a soldering iron, and then you would have no excuse not to solder something at home. We like to do lots of textile stuff, so there's lots of like knitting and sewing and things that go on in our space. Lots of our members are Harry Potter fans, so we did a workshop where we made Harry Potter wands that actually like lit up. Those are really creative. And then these are Arduino workshops because everybody loves Arduinos. This is a community outreach project we did. We teamed up with a university program that was working with kids and stuff, and we went and taught sewing and made plush dolls and all kinds of cool things. This was a beer brewing workshop because making your own beer is really fun. And every summer we come together and we just ask our members what they want to learn or teach. And then we set a series of workshops for the summer and just agree that we're going to make these happen one way or another. And we'll find people who can teach them. And we call it our summer vacation series. And we just learn all kinds of things. Let's see. Oh, there's a whole list of stuff we've done: sewing, 3D printing, computer casting, Arduinos, home router. Once a year, we throw not a maker fair, but a maker fest. That's actually what my T-shirt is from. This is our fancy T-shirt we designed. And that's, see, last year we had 700 people come through. This year, we think we probably doubled that number. So in our small town, that's a lot of people. So we're really excited about how that's growing. And that's just a fun picture of a baby chasing a dangerous robot. Other projects, we have a group of women who run a Python coding group in the space. They meet once a week, and that is just taking off. They've actually had to move outside our space to hold their monthly meetings because they have so many people who are in that. Here's our open hours, so if you're ever in town, just stop by if you're in Illinois. And then that's the end. All right.
Why don't you talk about projects you do?
What's that? Okay, sure. A personal project. So my background is electronics, and this is my current project. It's a power supply. So you can plug in your USB cable that you normally plug into your phone, and then it has touch sensors, so you can just slide your finger to set the voltage. And you can also read off the current and the power that your project is drawing. So I use this for small electronics projects when I need to quickly power it up, and then I can check how much power I'm taking, and then I know how long batteries are going to last when I'm switch over to battery power. And so this is my current personal project. But I'm not spending time just working with the Maker Space because I really love doing that too.
Cool. Thanks, Jeff. I'd say Liz.
Just slide it, just voltage.
VGA.
I know, but I'm saying
Oops. Let me this time.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm also a little sick, so this is going to be really short and mercifully brief. My day job is I help organize kind of culturally challenging events for artists and hackers and other people. My hobby is biohacking, and I participated in a hackathon at a hackerspace in Ljubljana, Slovenia, called Biotechna, and the whole focus of this was making mobile biology labs, because it's really cool to be able to go out in the field and do water testing or air testing or do DNA analysis with a mobile biology lab that's about the size of a suitcase. The one part of this project that I contributed most to was making a PCR machine. And PCR is basically a pretty simple but pretty powerful way of identifying a specific part of DNA. And PCR machines, if you purchase them, can cost thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. And this version that I worked on with a Swiss hacker named Urs Gaudens is made with an Arduino and some salvaged parts. So it would cost maybe $30 or $50 at the most. And it's made with a heat sink that was pulled out of a computer and a mill in a block and some sort of hardware and a board. And what else is in this kit is a little execution box where this other hacker that we work with named Chaihuo Maker does this really cool project with modified E. coli bacteria that will glow when it's in the presence of arsenic. So people. She actually did this with a group who live in a village in India where there is a lot of aluminum mining and the water is very pretty full of arsenic. And so we made these little kits for people to use to test the quality of their water. And yes, I'm very into technologies that are social and political and environmental and psychological impact. And I think biohacking is a really great way to explore your environment. That's all.
So, and let's see, is Zimmer, are you out? Yeah. Cool, come on up. Zimmer's from a hacker space in Austin, Texas.
Everyone, I'm wearing my project. I really like wearable technology. I had anybody go to comic book conventions? Anybody like comic books? I went to a comic book convention and I was wearing, at the time I had just been hit by a car. I have a wicked scar. And I had this big arm brace on, and everyone thought that I should deck it out in technology. So I covered it in LEDs, and I had a laser and a flash solar panel, and I glued it to a battery and had wires going to it so I could collect solar from my arm. And I had people wanting to buy this thing that had like drills in it and wood glue everywhere. It was really ugly, but people wanted to buy it from me. And I had a conversation with Mitch Altman. He encouraged me to start a company and sell it, and I kept making it over and over again to make it better and better and better, this solar project that you could wear. And I eventually did a Kickstarter. It was really successful, and I learned a lot through that entire process. And so I've kept learning with different wearable stuff, and this is the latest thing that I've made. This is all made from what used to be a single sheet of ballistic Kevlar that's bullet resistant up to a 9mm handgun. It is somewhat less bullet resistant now that I've cut it up into pieces. If any of you have ever worn a bulletproof vest or a bullet resistant vest, there's really no such thing as bulletproof. But if you've worn a bullet resistant vest and it's all one piece, it's really difficult to move in. It's really made for a police officer or a soldier who's constantly getting shot at. I don't get shot at that often, so I didn't need it. I didn't really need it for that, and I think we should use Kevlar and a lot of these police and military technologies for other purposes. So this is a lot more flexible. I can move around, it can touch my toes, and I segmented it in the back as well so that it provides spinal armor and back armor for me. I also, of course, wanted to embed some electronics. 100 lumens is bright, and some you can get up to 900 lumens, really, really bright. This is 3,500 lumens. So it is really bright. Would y'all like to see it? Yeah. Okay. And then it has the strobe mode, which is even more distracting. And so I don't know what this could be used as. I made this as a fun project, and perhaps something like this could be used for adventures or for search and rescue workers in an emergency situation. So that's my project. So is Eris here? No. He was here. I think Eris left. Yeah, and Ben. Ben left too. Asa was on his way. Oh yeah. Asa's on his way. He's from Hackerspace in Manchester, England. He helped start it, and they have been doing a lot of things with the city of Manchester. And the city of Manchester really loves them because they started up their hackerspace in a very, very poor, rundown part of town, and they were part of the process of making it a very happy town to be in now. That's now full of cafes and restaurants and small little pubs, hangout places, including their hackerspace. And now there's actually 2 hackerspaces
Hackerspaces are really good for revitalizing parts of town because it just attracts all sorts of interesting people there and they hang out there. Yeah, well, Eris goes around the world, and he's not here at the moment, he was here earlier, but he goes around the world doing hackathons, sometimes hackathons for 2,000 people, sometimes with a focus, but usually just totally open. For like 2,000 people just show up and people get together in groups and work on projects for 48 hours. And by the end of 48 hours, with just people coming together and a few mentors to help when people need it, people do the most amazing projects. At Noisebridge, the hackerspace I started in San Francisco, helped start in San Francisco, we just had a hackathon in honor of Aaron Schwartz, who is a person who did amazing things with his life. Unfortunately, the government of the United States didn't like him, and they arrested him, wanted him to spend 35 years in jail, and pay $1 million fine for downloading files that he had legal access to anyways. And he ended up killing himself rather than go to jail, which is pretty tragic. But that was 2 years ago, and for the last 2 years, people around the world have had Aaron Schwartz hackathons to continue making the internet free and open for everybody. So I don't know what the results were this time, but last year, a lot of people created software to make it very easy to share their projects with one another, just in the 48-hour period. And then Ben's on his way. Okay, then Professor Ben Gu is a professor in industrial engineering at Chaihuo University in Beijing. And for the last many years, he's been trying all sorts of really radical experiments in education in Chaihuo University. He helped create something called XLP, Extreme Learning Program, where people get together sort of like a hackathon, but they prepare a long time beforehand to create resources that people who are going to be involved can make use of, and then have mentors. And in a short period, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 days, they come up with something really spectacular. For instance, last year, a bunch of high schools together, and they made not a scanning electron microscope, what was it? I think it was a scanning electron microscope. So a bunch of high school students came together and they made the scanning electron microscope out of Legos. And Lego Mindstorm and a few other resources. And these are people who know nothing about this stuff, and they're high school students. But when you get together with a bunch of people with a goal and a few resources, these kind of magical things can happen. So if he gets here soon, he can say some more about what he does. Right now, he's part of this whole movement in China and the world to have hackerspaces as part of education, which is why we work together. And yeah, so how many people here make a living doing something they think is totally awesome? That's all? That's great. I mean, it's really wonderful that people are making a living doing something they think is great and wonderful and awesome. What about the rest of you? You're spending your time at work making money. Awesome. If you're only making money, you need money to live. That's cool. You need money to eat, get food and shelter. But what good is money if you have food and shelter and you're spending all your time making money rather than making a life you think is awesome? And if you have a family, what are you teaching your kids? That money is more important than living a life that's way worthwhile?
Yes.
That's what we're teaching our kids. Is that okay?
That's the reason we're here, right?
Please think about it.
Yeah.
It's way worth thinking about. So, but Ben just came in. Why don't you come up and say a bit more about the work you're doing? And I was saying a bit about the high school kids last year making a project at XLP. But what was the project they made again?
Okay, so at Chaihuo High School, we are trying a number of social experimental learning activities. The whole reason for doing all that is simply because I think Chaihuo students are. By the way, is anybody recording this video? So if you record this, I assume that everything you do is totally, what to say, tempered, right? I don't take any responsibility. So anyway, so the only reason I always take Renda Fuzhong High School students and Chaihuo High School students, because I think these are the only medicine that can be used to really irritate my college and graduate students at Chaihuo University, because usually they are much more confident and capable. So basically, that's really the reason I brought them to this extreme learning process. And it turns out almost every single time, any hacking task, any organizational task, any intellectual tasks, high school students, even middle school students, are actually better than college students. I assume there are few high school students here, so we can actually do a competition. High school students in China are really competent, okay, not all, but some of them. Anyway, the second thing we are trying to do here is actually we don't want high school students only to hack with hardware or software, making some laser cutting whatever material. We want them to actually think about the social impacts, like many of the people here, like the Superman and Cedric is doing kung fu, right? So the point is that we actually want high school students, when they are working in the hackerspace, come up with their own rules about how to run the hackerspace. So we asked all these high school students to actually write so-called hackerspace constitution. Right? It's not just hacker constitution. It's a constitution on how to run their own hackerspace. So they have to read about what is a constitution, read about U.S. Declaration of Independence. We read about French whatever documents about their constitution. There's a revolution, and you guys only do revolution, and then stop there. Right? And then we want them to read about Chinese constitution. Not only we make them write the constitution, we make what they wrote about the constitution and then put it on version control system and put it and share it with other college professors. And we make college professors as a team working for 42 hours straight to actually revise the constitution written by high school students. So then after they've done that, then we take a bunch of hackers, which you are seeing here, and then again revise the constitution and make fun of how stupid Chinese students are in terms of not being able to understand the meaning of constitution. But it doesn't matter, right? No document should be static. And the key about hacking is not just about hacking a specific piece of hardware. It's actually hacking human minds. So this afternoon, Mitch asked me, what do you play in life? Not what do you do in life? What do you work in life? So he asked me, what do I do? What do I play in life? So then thinking through this, I can only have one answer, which I'll repeat again. I play with human minds. And that's what I do. And then the problem is that can people in general learn to play with their own minds? Do you know how? Are there people doing this on a daily basis? Are we allowed to do so? It turns out it is such a controversial thing, we were not even allowed to talk about it, but we can actually do it. The fact is that educational systems around the world are so broken that we are all playing with your mind, you just don't know. Right? Right? Whenever some politician says this standard test is good for the country, says who? Why is he, this wise guy, all of a sudden has new metrics? He says everybody has to have a high score on SAT, on GRE, on English, on mathematics. All of a sudden, his words are right. Who gives him his power? And why are we allowing them to have this thing? So I'll say something again. So make sure, turn off your camera, or I will make sure I deny everything I say. Okay? Sorry. Anyway, I will say that right now. Okay, everything I say is totally dramatized. Right? So you can incriminate me, whatever you want, but it's not, I don't take responsibility for it. So about a month ago, my president, the president of Tsinghua University, says to me, come to my office. So I said, yes, sir, I come to your office. So he said, you fucking crazy professor, you will go out there and find something crazier than you and bring it into Tsinghua, and I want you to create a program that's totally revolutionary and totally radical. I said, well, are you nuts? I mean, I'm already radical enough. Don't you know me already, right? So then I thought I was wrong. I thought he said something totally out of his personal expectation. He probably didn't know what he got himself into. But 2 weeks later, he actually went on stage in front of 500 students in a big auditorium. He said the following thing. That was the same day that Zuckerberg was in town. Right? Zuckerberg was a college dropout, right? Dropout from college, right? So for Tsinghua University to compare and compete directly against Harvard, this is our president said. He said, anybody here in this auditorium who doesn't like to stay in school, you should consider quitting the university. This is his original word coming out of the mouth of Tsinghua University president. If Harvard president says something as stupid as this, he'll be fired right away. Right? So the point I'm trying to say here is, China knows our education system is completely broken. It's completely broken, so profoundly broken. All layers of administration knows the simple fact. Listen to me very well. The logic is simple. Because the education system in China and around the world is so fundamentally broken, there's nothing our educational departments can possibly do to do it worse. Therefore, you can do anything you want. The president of university can ask anybody to quit school and start something new. So I thought what he said was just a complete like error in the way he was pronouncing that sentence or whatever. So I cannot totally. The following day, he calls me into his office one more time. The Ben. Yes, sir. So how do you make my university the #1 university in the world? That's your job. So then he said, well, just tell me some of your solutions. So I said, there are 3 stages of how we can become world-leading universities. First of all, we are currently at the stage, every single thing you have is totally digitized. Without WeChat, without your cell phone, you don't exist. If you turn off your cell phone for more than 48 hours, your friends will consider you missing or dead or somehow being, kidnapped or something. For sure, try it out. Somebody want to try it? Right? Nobody. See? Nobody dared to, right? So first of all, digital identity has already taken your existence. If you are not reachable by WeChat and respond within 24 hours, then you are dead, right? So first of all, Tsinghua University should be providing a digital identity to anybody in the world who wants to be Tsinghua students. Like him, he's actually a Tsinghua student already. Look at him. It looks like and we have superheroes too, right? So second stage is once you have your digital identity, we will actually read a constitution that we wrote in the past to you, telling you what is the basic rule to become the Tsinghua students. Then we also tell you what are the procedures that you can get involved to change those rules. By writing this and publishing this, you are becoming a citizen of a learning community. So after reading and writing this, we will teach you the skill set to publish whatever you know into this digital platform. So having a unified digital deployment process that all the digital evidence of your learning result to be shown in the particular repository you choose to reveal it to the public as the right amount that you care to publish. By doing this, we will be the first university in the entire universe that actually truly care about what is the process of learning, not about whether we give you a diploma. This will fundamentally transform all learning around the world, and it will not just start with 18-year-olds. We will start with 15 years old, with 14 years old, with 12 years old, even with 5-year-olds. And then the president and the vice president said, that sounds radical, but maybe we can do it. More importantly is the following thing the vice president says to me, Ben, why don't we start a 2-year hacker school so that we can get a lot of money from a lot of dumb people, donate money to us. And we build a big building. We got 200 people living in this house called Hacker School House. And we do whatever we want in there. And we don't give them a degree. Since they're radicals anyway. Can we do something like that? I said, why do you need a house? Right? Why do I need a house from you? If they can do anything they want, why do they want to come to you? Right? He said, well, Ben, but we need to build a house so we can get a donation. Donation people want to see a house. I said, fine, okay, build your house. But how much money do you need? I said, I don't need money. I don't need money from you. I'm poor. I'm poor, and I don't know how to spend money. That's why I don't need you, right? I said, Ben, tell me a number. So all of the Chinese here, I said 4 words. Imagine which 4 words. Okay, 弹性点兵. Right? What's the next 4 words? The more the merrier, basically, that's what I said, right? So he said, well, give me a number. So I said, how about 500 million? He said, well, fine, so we'll talk something. Anyway, the point I'm trying to say to you, currently, China is not short of money. China is short of consciousness. China is short of a fundamental belief system, knowing we are a people. A people that actually can do service to others. A people that can actually establish a culture that other people will use as a paradigm and look up to. And thinking what we have done actually supported other people's lives. A people that actually care about this land, knowing what needs to be done here and not coming up with crappy services, crappy air, crappy people. But currently we allow all that to happen. Because we think we are too small. We are too powerless. The only thing we can do is make enough money, so the money will buy us the tickets to fly away, go to San Francisco, and get stuck at the Northbridge, become Mitch Altman. I think this is great. You know what would happen to Mitch Altman after some Chinese guy working for 10, 20, 30 years? He will try to become Mitch Altman and eventually fly back to China and try to save China anyway. So why don't we save ourselves right now? Right? We can save ourselves by doing something. Just by knowing that, we can start become totally responsible for our own activities by registering our actions in something in the digital repository we care to manage, we care to maintain, and then we care to reveal a part of the truth with others. As long as we're truthful to ourselves and willing to reveal evidence, hard evidence, as our learning result, this will be the most truthful fact that human has ever experienced. And that will be a new kind of consciousness we have presented to this universe. And then people know Chinese people actually do this. That's the goal of Chaihuo University as a university. Thank you.
You should explain what are the next steps and how do these people contribute.
Okay. So to basically run this out, we actually have an action plan. The action plan is we want to run this program called Project Recombination. Right now, the operations manager is actually American Chinese. Okay, Aris, raise your hand. So who is your great-great-grandfather? What's his name? Gongzhi. Anyway, he's Gongzhi Zhen, right? Okay, anyway. So, hey, hello, I'll see you on your back. Hey, hello. Okay. So anyway, Project Recombination is about recombining resources around the world, having people from different culture, different location, and also different courses. We're trying to recombine people from California, especially UC Berkeley, Shenzhen, and Tsinghua, and basically using the digital platform to connect everything together as one learning platform. Anybody with any skill set, whether you're an artist, you're a hacker, you're a programmer, you're welcome to come to this digital platform to reveal your identity and basically accumulate credits for what you can contribute to the community. And also, we want to basically have an open platform allowing everybody to have your own platform and running your own community. And also only reveal your content to the people you care. One more time. The whole idea is not about Chaihuo University becoming the best university in the world. is Tsinghua University, as one university, wants to contribute to the greater good of the entire community, and every small community can be a distributed community. Being distributed, being every organizational and individual identity, then we can recombine our resources. Resources needs accountability. You need to become a part of bigger whole, but then you need a digital contract to basically keep the evidence you have. So how many people know this idea of, or know the term Bitcoin? Bitcoin? So quite a few people know Bitcoin. Basically, the notion of Bitcoin is really the very first digital trust system that the world is being afraid of as of now, right? All governments are afraid of this notion that somebody who don't exist, anybody can be a banker, and everybody has a transparent access to other people's acknowledgement of your digital transaction. Similarly, as of now, everything I say, well, I'm being witnessed by a large number of people. This is what a university should be. Meaning that every word I say, I should take my own actions and words into risk. So all these, worry about, being recorded is actually too late. I already been recorded too many times. But anyway, the point being that if you are being digitally recorded, including writing words on a piece of paper, that's actually a digital recording if you think about it. Then you started to publishing your ideas and words in digital form, and try to make this language transferable to other people. This is how you can recombine your idea. Without using some form of digital technology, it's harder to recombine, harder to keep your assets. That's basically what I'm trying to say. But actually, I shouldn't go into too much technical detail.
Talk about what we're recombining and
So, might as well, yeah, you talk about, yeah.
You should talk about iSpace.
Okay. Now, iSpace. Okay. iPodium.
iPodium, iSpace, and what's down. Well, you want to just say a little bit?
Yeah. Okay, so let me tell a few things that's relevant to Shenzhen immediately. Shenzhen government, specifically Nanshan government, has given Tsinghua University 26,100 square meter worth of office space, basically building a hackerspace close to Tsinghua campus in Shenzhen. So basically in that area, we will be basically running the operational arm of project recombination with Professor Zhang Guang in Shenzhen campus. Unlike any other school, we want any school, especially Beida and Harbin Gongye Daxue students, to actually participate in our space.
We'll want your input on designing the space too, since you guys are going to be using it.
Yes. So that's another open space. We want many people like yourself, physically attending the physical space. The second thing is that we will be providing video conferencing facility to basically give access to 10 other countries, 10 top schools. Each country has one top school, including Tsinghua. In China, we actually have Beida as well, unfortunately. We have 2 universities in China, Technion in Israel, we have USC in the United States, and we have 10 schools basically offering courses, and anybody who wants to register for the course can go through me. You'll be working with international people around the world to take some interesting courses. And then on top of that, we will be running hackathons, and I will be running so-called extreme learning process courses. And anybody who gets a digital identity can actually get from me a authorized digital certificate at the end, recording your contribution in that course. And eventually, if you are not yet a Tsinghua student, once you are a Tsinghua student, I will vouch for you, then you will take that as a formal credit. Anybody who's already a Tsinghua student, you take course with me, that course will be given basically a hackathon-related kind of activity will be taken in as formal credits. Tsinghua University, probably the first university in the world, actually take hackathon-like activities into formal credits. Okay, and we'll design many more activities. The simple idea is anybody who wants to design new curriculum, as long as your contribution is digitally recorded, I can find evidence. I will get you a certificate from Tsinghua. I have that power to do so. Okay, so that's roughly, you have some.
We're doing a hackathon next week, right?
Yes. We're running a hackathon in Beijing, T-Hacks, the first time organized by Aris and some other people in Beijing with computer science department students. Starting on November 22nd and 23rd. And then we will have another big party in between 25th to 30th, depends on this schedule. So when he gets back to China, we will redecorate a huge factory floor to something as fancy, hopefully as this. And you are welcome to give us some people doing that. Okay?
Where is it? Where?
In Beijing, unfortunately. So welcome to come to Beijing. Right? If you think you're really good, I can actually buy at least 1 or 2 tickets for you to fly to Beijing. Right? Take them, but not everybody. Not everybody. Sorry. Anything else? So by the way, Chaihuo, you can speak in Chinese, telling how difficult it is to work with me. So.
我是顾老师3年前的学生和助手，然后顾老师很unfortunately，然后在10月的原稿还要，因为我们在一起进行了很多项目，然后进行了很多工作，然后我想做更多的事情，然后顾老师希望我做一些事情，然后顾老师在这时候鼓励我去重新发起一项工作，然后这样通过交流经验，然后在因为面试，这是一个面向公益教育领域的技术性研究。然后他帮助所有的中国最边远山区的学生，能够从1块钱成本开始去整个1年级到我们的3年级整个电子课程，可以非常好的来改。然后在这之后，我再和我的搭档从一起合作创建了一个3甲印的一个研发机构，叫做光子流体技术公司。然后我们现在做新一代的3甲硬件，然后它将会是这个时代新的一代生产。然后我们在未来的1个月左右时间里面会发布到 P3 的。那所有这些事情最开始起点都是从顾老师开始的，他对我的教育批评和鼓励，使得我可以干这些工作。非常感谢。
I want to say something specific about Chaihuo. Like a year ago, he came to my, like 2 years ago, he came back to my office, right? I look at your hair. I said, it's totally dirty. So I gave you a bunch of money. And you didn't actually come back. Right now, you shaved your head, so that's right. So this is good. Okay. Anything else? I think spoke too much. I'm sorry. I was aggressive.
Yeah. So tell me if you want to say something about what you do.
I can't think of what to say.
Well, Tully is American, but he lives in Shenzhen or Guangzhou.
Oh, okay.
Shenzhen. And so he was working with Seed Studio for a while. That was a while back, and now he has his own company, Samurai Circuits, doing open source hardware and making a living from it. So lots of cool stuff. Do you have a website? I remember actually.
SamuraiCircuits.com and factoryforall.com.
Yeah. So cool stuff. And then Asa is, I mentioned earlier, from Hackerspace in Manchester, England, called Mad Lab. And it's like he has something to show on the cool. Of course, we don't have anything with VGA. Right on. Talking about
keep this super short, right? I think this is yeah, but just a real super quick whistle stop tour to Mad Lab in Manchester. So this here is our hackerspace in Manchester. We've got about 3,000 square foot, or we just discovered a basement the other day, so it's going to be 4,000 square foot flat soon.
Really?
Yeah, the landlord didn't even know it was there. It was apparently this, nobody had been in it since the 60s. So we're now going to have a 4-story makerspace in the centre of Manchester. We're right in the heart of what used to be Ground Zero for the previous industrial revolution. So the 19th century one, where they made like steam and cotton mills and all that kind of stuff. So this used to be a weaver's cottage. This was a little factory with like people living on it, like looms running on the top floor. Quite cool. Yeah, we've been going since 2009. So harking back to 2009, this guy came to visit us. Recognise the hostels, it's like the first conversation. So yeah, and yeah, so we're in Manchester. One of the main things that we do is we kind of act as we call ourselves a community space. So we have about 70 different community groups that all use MATLAB as kind of both technology, but also science and art and all kinds of things. So there's all the kind of like usual sort of things you would expect to find at a makerspace. So lots of sort of like apps making, electronics, robotics, all this kind of stuff. Like WordPress groups, all these sorts of things. We've also got like a science fiction book club. We've got writers groups. There's a writing happening tonight and back in Manchester. We've also got filmmaking, photography, jewelry making, all kinds of stuff. It's completely spread out. We very much see kind of, so like making and hacking is not even just about the electronics, but about kind of just the creation of new things. So we do all of these kinds of things. I mean, a little bit like your space. We do quite a lot of workshops. So kind of bringing people in from like other organisations and from like all around Manchester to kind of learn about sort of making new things. So here we've got like the University of Life Sciences professor, woman from who runs like a homeless support organisation, some homeless guys over there, various kind of lots and lots of people. The way we kind of describe MATLAB is so if you're familiar with Yakult, it's kind of like the drink that's got good bacteria in it. And Yakult reformed the kind of the image of bacteria from being kind of nasty things to being good bacteria. So we do the same thing for carnage. So MATLAB is the place where good carnage happens. It's a messy, kind of fun, scrappy place, very, very deeply untidy. So yeah, we do these kinds of things as you would expect. We have like a big place in workshop program. We also run kind of projects of our own. So we work with like the local city council, like the BBC, like the UK Design Council. Several international organisations as well, so the Bach over in Amsterdam, yeah, loads and loads of people. And we have kind of our own projects as well. So we have a space program. So I think that every program. So we did our first high altitude balloon launch the other day, which I've got some footage of. I'll show people if you're interested later. So high altitude balloon, payload, low power radio transmitter, camera, send it up to 35 kilometers, take loads of cool photos, lots of fun. And one of our real big programs at the moment, was like this real pet project for me, which I have lots of love for, is DIY bio. So this is amateur biotechnology. So this is sort of building your own bits of like lab equipment, like all these bits back here. That's an open PCR. This is our other piece of lab equipment we made. Some other nasty bits and some computer offcuts. And just here, so we're doing DNA fingerprinting, so DNA analysis, like taking meat from like the local takeaway and then investigating its DNA to find out if it is what it says it is, which it isn't. So yeah, just kind of general fun stuff. So yeah, that's my 5 minutes up, right? It's cool. So if you're ever in Manchester, you should totally come and visit us. That would be great. Thanks very much. You're awesome. I can't wait to hear about you guys.
Yeah, so you've heard a bit from each of us who are here traveling together. And yeah, the whole idea is for all of us to have opportunities to explore and do what we think is way wonderful in our own lives. And that's what hackerspaces are all about. That's what community is all about. Even if you don't make a living doing something you think is awesome, you can come to a hackerspace and learn to do things you think are awesome And then maybe even some of those things can be expanded to make a living from it, who knows. But at least you'll be spending time doing things you really love doing, which is what I think life is all about. So, thanks everybody. Well, if anyone has any questions for any of us, feel free to corner us. Yeah.
I'm curious if anyone here has something that they would like to show off. I'm very interested to know what you all are doing here.
Yeah, you all have projects? Little or big?
Not here?
We did something fabulous with this son.
Talk about it?
We did something, we're doing something quite new. I met a team who is an executive coding, making robots, and it's video whatever. It's very basic, very new, but it's a team of combination of engineering and artists and some always very interesting. So we just started with people and I think I found some parents in Shenzhen with their children. Like even as a mother, I don't want my children to really go through the education system and get the higher score and go to Chaihuo. I just want my children. Yeah, sorry. I want.
That hurts.
I want my kids and lots of parents and they want their kids to really create something, use their hand or their brain and enjoy their life. So that kind of start with a small group of people, but I think generally it will grow and lots of people they will like meeting or gathering like this. One day, lots of people will really join and bring their kids and start to make the things. So I think I really learn a lot from
Wonderful. I want to hook you up if you are interested with some people I know in the United States who are doing a thing called Curiosity Hack, which is similar to teaching children soldering and programming and English making.
So I would like to learn from you and I have my business card, which is in Chinese, I'm sorry.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You have an email?
I have an email. And I have a course.
Maybe I would like to share something. It's okay. Sure.
Yeah, I think
Can I borrow that? But everyone is leaving. Maybe another time. It's the last day. Yeah. So there was a 6-minute microphone. I think it's a high. I'm working like my where do you make the feasibility?
I want to be ready to be ready having score. So I need to do something like this. Just one more. Because there's too many boards. Just one board. So I decided the thing, and then I have to say yeah. I think the credit is this time. You know, where can I? It's not uploaded yet. You need to start to upload. I think that you can kind of practice some of them as we picking up. That's what we want. Yeah, you can come to this to have a look. You can have the mountain to have a look. Yeah, I'm a bit close to some product manager. That's how. Wow.
朋友，你这个能上 VPN 吗？对，然后我有一个项目想跟他分享一下，然后不知道能不能用你的电脑跑一个网站。可以啊，可以。要不翻个墙，看一个视频。我已经翻墙了啊！我已经翻墙了。好。 Same magic. And technical for the ecosystem, firmware, API, everything.
Are you working with students?
Yeah.
I know that.